Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the Hardy Realty Show here on Rome Business Radio. I'm Roger Manus, and we broadcast from the Hardy Realty Studios and their location at Hardy on Broad, downtown Rome, Georgia, right on Broad Street. We moved in a few weeks ago. It's an awesome facility, and as always, we thank Hardy Realty for their support. We also work in cooperation with the Rome News Tribune. I'm Roger Manus with Rome Business Radio, and as always, here on the Hardy Realty Show, they use the platform to talk about great things going on in our community and their heavy community involvement. And we are represented by Hardy Realty on this show by Katrina Stewart. Hello, Katrina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm just hunky-dory, as we say down south. Yes. How are things at Hardy?
Busy.
Heat of summer?
Heat of summer, and it's very busy. It's
like
doing really good. Buying
and selling houses, and is the market still going crazy?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's all kinds of inflation and gas prices, but real estate, we're clicking along.
It is still going strong.
And what are your duties at Hardy?
I am a realtor, but I also work in the property management side of Hardy Realty in the residential part of it. So.
And how long have you been there?
Almost 4 years.
Okay. Well, let's welcome our guests and the reason why we're here. Drew Taylor here with Community Kitchen. Hi, Drew. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. And Sarah Holsomback. Am I saying that right?
You are.
With Floyd County Schools. Hi, Sarah.
Hello. Good morning.
Tell us a little bit about what you do at Floyd County Schools.
I've worked in Floyd County for the last 7 years, and so I came on as a special ed teacher about 7 years ago, and then I have been in the assistant principal role for the last 5 years. And so I have a great principal that we work really well in tandem, Miss Carrie Graves. And so we lead what was Glenwood Primary. And so we have recently closed that building after about 70 years of being open. And we are moving into a new building. All of our stuff is there. And it will be called Armuchee Primary. So I mostly kind of my area of strength and where I work in our building is in students at risk, whether that's academically or behaviorally, socially. And so I work in kind of getting them in the right interventions and things that they need. And then, of course, is supporting the vision of the school.
I went to Armuchee Elementary way back when for the first grade.
Okay. That's awesome.
I had Miss McIntosh.
Okay. What a great name for a teacher.
back in the 1970s. 70. Anyway, Drew, tell us a little bit about Community Kitchen.
I am the director of operations, and we've been going strong since 2009, and we feed those in need. We also provide showers and laundry services, and then we also have 7 food pantry boxes all over Rome at different areas that we fill up with canned goods so that people can we can meet needs. People can eat and get whatever they need.
Okay, so those are the big broad overviews. And Katrina, you guys, Hardy's involved in a book drive with Floyd County Schools, which is why Sarah's here. So if you guys could tell us a little bit about that.
So at Hardy Realty, we have Hardy Helps is where all of our agents and our staff, we get together each month and we work with a certain community or project or and so this month, the month of July, we have chosen to do a children's book drive. And at Armuchee Primary, they have, because they are going into a new location for them, and they've got a couple of new classes that they need to really work on their class library. So we are actually doing the book drive to help work and build that up for them.
So you're asking, people are coming by Hardy and dropping off books, or are you just going out knocking on doors and saying, give me your books?
They can come by and drop off children's books. Yes, they can. And all of our agents and everyone, they will be bringing in lots of them.
Well, with your educational background, Sarah, how critical are books to kids even before school starts?
Right. Well, really, early literacy and reading to children is the best thing that we can do for young children. Reading 20 minutes a day is really what we talk to our families about. If you read 20 minutes a day, you'll read 1,800,000 words a year. And so reading is so essential to all of those.
Really? Wait a minute. I got to do the math.
Okay.
Hold on.
So if you read 20 minutes a day.
Okay.
Yeah. you'll read about 1,800,000 words per year.
And that's just vocabulary.
And that's vocabulary, comprehension skills. Before you learn to read yourself, you're learning intonation of a reader, what a fluent reader sounds like, when parents read to their children. But then we are adding these two classrooms. We're adding a a kindergarten and a second grade classroom this year. We're going to be able to lower our class size numbers a bit. And so these two classrooms don't have a classroom library, or they haven't yet. And so, because they're new classrooms. So that's the way we're going to use the books that are donated in these two classrooms. And then if we have more, we'll definitely spread it around. But classrooms that have their own classroom library, it's going to be varied in text, different genres. There are, nonfiction and fiction books. And so classrooms that have a classroom library, students are reading about 50% more than classrooms without a classroom library. And so it's not really enough to just have a school library, because you might finish a book, especially primary age students. They're going to finish a book within, 10, 15, 20 minutes. And so if you check out 2 books a week at the library, but then you only, you go about once or twice a week, you're not getting as many books as if you have them in your classroom readily available to you.
Right. Okay. So that's the need. Now Hardy Helps does a lot of things, and the community kitchen's one of them. So, yeah. So, Drew, talk about, how much you guys rely on volunteers to help what you do, and how Hardy has helped out.
Well, we have 2 staff members, so that tells you how much we rely on volunteers. And we have a pretty big operation. So, I would say 98% of our workforce is volunteers. And, we have awesome, wonderful donors and volunteers in this community, and Hardy Realty is one of them that has supported us over the years and helped us tremendously to meet needs in our community.
All right. So what are some of the details? When do you serve meals? Where are you located? And who do you serve? All of that.
Yeah, we're at 4 Calhoun Avenue, and we're open Monday through Friday from 8 to about 12. We serve meals from 11 to 12, but laundry and shower services are open from 8 to 11. Usually if somebody comes in a little after 11, we'll still let them take a shower. Just with the clothes, they need to be there earlier so they can get them back same day. And that's pretty much it. We've served about over 600,000 meals since we started in 2009.
And how did this start? Was this just a labor of love that? Yeah,
some of the local leaders in the community came together and decided that they needed to form one location so that, which makes sense. That way, everybody would know where to go to get a meal, because it bounced around from a lot of the churches downtown from week to week. And so that started in 2009, and we have since, we were in the Old Troy's barbecue building is where we originally started feeding, and then we built a new kitchen, 100% debt free, and then we turned our old kitchen, the Old Troy's barbecue building, into shower and laundry services.
Okay. So, and you're funded by donations?
Yes. 100% donations. We get no federal or state grants.
Okay. So, what is your biggest fight every day? Trying to keep the doors open?
No, we have been very blessed, which we've never had that problem. We can always use money because it's very expensive to do this, provide a free service day in and day out. But thank God we've never been to that point where we've had to fight to keep the doors open. So it's just, continuing to meet the needs.
Yeah.
And right now it's getting canned goods for the food pantry boxes.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it's never ending trying to meet the needs, because it's food.
Yes, sir.
So, do you need cash? Do you need canned goods? What do you need?
All of the above.
and volunteers.
Yes, we won't turn down any of them.
Cash, canned goods, and volunteers.
Yes.
Well, Katrina, have you been to the community kitchen before? Is it because you have such a large staff?
Yes.
At Hardy,
yes.
that and I know you guys are so involved in everything that not everybody does everything.
Right.
But have you been there?
I actually have not been there yet, because I am on staff at Hardy, and I'm always there on staff.
In office.
Yes, in the office, yeah.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of agents that have definitely been there, and staff members, some of the staff members.
Well, tell us a little bit more about Hardy Helps, because here we're talking in this episode about the involvement with Community Kitchen and with the book drive, but just the pervasive attitude of community service that you guys have.
So about a year ago, Carol Hatch, she's actually works in she's management of the residential side of property management. She had the vision of Hardy Helps. And so she got with several of us and started talking to us about what she would like to see happen at Hardy Realty. So we all got together and we try to meet at the beginning of the year, and we go through and look at all the different charities and the different groups that we would like to work with and help. And so every month we have someone, a different group that we choose to, some of them need gift cards, some of them need cash, some of them they just need us to volunteer,
yep.
canned
Several
goods,
months ago.
food.
Warm bodies.
Yeah, so every month's a little bit different.
And Jimmy Byers is obviously plugged into the community as well. So
Yes, absolutely.
Kind of his stamp, I guess, on everything that you guys do. Sarah, what has the challenge been for you guys? We were talking about the book drive, but I'm fascinated by closing down a school.
Sure.
And right now we're in the summer. When does school start? Pretty soon.
So August 10th is the first day of school. And so we are, I was at school just last night and there are boxes everywhere. As you can imagine, just our media center had 150 boxes.
Wow.
And so, closing a school that's been open for 70 years has been very challenging. Thankfully, our district has been very supportive and given us all the boxes we need and tape and, manpower. And so we're excited. It is going to be a newer building that we are in. We're going to be on Martha Berry in the old, what was Armuchee Elementary. And so we're just shifting from 4 schools to 3. And so we remained intact with our staff and our students. And so we've really tried to encourage our families that, it's the same people that make the building and the community, that's what makes it special. And so all of the people are going with, our children in the community that we serve. And so.
Well, with you being administration, I imagine you're having to deal with a lot of these headaches and growing pains or what have you.
Sure. And I think once we get settled, we will, it will be, forward steam from there. When any time in the summer, there's a lot of work going on, that's when they come and wax the floors and, all of that kind of stuff. So there's already, transitioned from, education is beautiful in the way that it has a beginning and an ending every year, and so there's always these ending things and beginning things that we do anyways. But this year we'll really feel kind of like starting, setting up that classroom for the very first time, rather than a reset. And so we'll begin to let our staff in a couple of weeks, and they'll have a few weeks to get their rooms ready and, all the common areas, as you can imagine. I mean, every nook and cranny has been moved to another school or relocated. And so, it will take some time to make it our own. So we'll have 3 schools. We'll be Armuchee Primary, and we'll serve pre-K, kindergarten, first and second. And then Armuchee Elementary, the name will be at the building that's on Floyd Springs Road that was formerly Armuchee Middle. And so I kind of have called it the Middle. It's going to be 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. And so it's not a traditional setting for a middle or necessarily elementary, though 6th graders are often considered elementary students. So that will be Armuchee Elementary. And then we'll have grades 7 through 12 at the high school campus. So they'll house middle school and high school students there.
Okay.
And so there's been a lot of renovations. Armuchee High School is looking really great. They've worked really hard to, from the ceiling above, there's going to be new flooring, new bathrooms. We already had our gym. I don't know if you've been there, but it's a beautiful gym. And so, piece by piece, it's really coming together. And it's going to look like a new school. So we're really excited about that for our high school students.
So at primary, so how many students are being affected by the move? Well, I guess everybody's ultimately affected.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to every grade except for 8 through 12 is moving now.
Right.
But then, a year or 2 ago, I guess is when we added 8th graders to all of our high schools. So all the high schools in Floyd County have 8th grade as well. So 7th grade, moved from the middle school to the high school campus, but they have At Armuchee High, there's like an outdoor, used to be like a junior academy. And so that they've renovated that and put bathrooms and everything out there. And so that's where the 7th graders will go. But really every grade level this summer, except for 8 through 12, has had a move. So you think about furniture and desk and, all of those things. But I mean, our district's been very supportive and everything is where it needs to be at this point. Now it's just up to us to kind of make it our own.
Correct me if I'm wrong. When I was a kid, school started much later.
Yeah.
But I know I'm old, but
and August 10th is a week later than we normally start.
Yeah. When did all that happen?
This is my 18th year in education, and it's gotten earlier and earlier. But the nice thing is that we're kind of on a balanced schedule, so we get a week off in October, 2 weeks at Christmas, a spring break, and so there's a little more balance to the calendar rather than.
Okay.
I don't know. Teachers, we kind of prefer it.
I think when I was a kid, I think we started after Labor Day, but I could be wrong.
And there might have been less days required. I'm not sure, but
maybe I just didn't start going till. Maybe I just played hooky the whole time.
Well, I grew up in Virginia, and we did start after Labor Day, but we went to the middle of June.
That's I recall going into June.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we're done before Memorial Day.
Yeah.
So it's just a shifting of days.
Just slid it a little bit. I just get fascinated by that. Drew, how many meals do you serve a day, or people how do you quantify what you do on a daily basis?
Right now we're at about anywhere between 80 and 100. Toward the end of the month you can get over 100 or so. And so we're, between 5 and 550 meals a week. So
and who are you serving? Are these homeless around town?
Anybody that needs a meal. So it's no questions asked. They come in, we feed them.
And do you see some of the same people all the time?
Yeah, it's kind of cycled through over the years though. And we've had a lot of people come back, and we have a big sign beside our kitchen that says items needed of the week. And I've had people come back and bring donations, and that we've helped.
All right, I know I've asked you this on a previous show, but for people who may just be listening for the first time, what is your background, and how were you drawn to this?
I actually worked at a place called Valley Rescue Mission in Columbus, Georgia, before I moved back to Rome. I grew up in Rome, and I worked there for a couple of years and kind of fell in love with the nonprofit side of it and serving those. They had a soup kitchen and everything down there, and then came back here, and it was just a perfect fit. I've ended up at the community kitchen, and I kind of got led there by some fellow church members of my parents and everything, and that was over 12 years ago. I've been there ever since. So.
And how do you get the word out about, besides doing great podcasts like this?
Yeah. Yes.
How do you market yourself as a nonprofit? You kind of got to walk the line. You need help, and you want to get the word out, but
always word of mouth, but also social media.
It's not like you can go by TV spots or anything.
No, we have a Facebook page, Rome Community Kitchen. And then we also have a website, RomeFloydCommunityKitchen.org.
Okay.
And we have PayPal through that. So if anybody wants to go on there and donate, they're more than welcome to.
All right. And who does the cooking?
We have a kitchen manager, and then she coordinates. Her name's Sheila Watkins. She coordinates with volunteers, and they all do it together. So.
And when you say you're open from 8 to noon, there's not breakfast. You just serve the one meal between 11 and 12.
Yes, and actually volunteers are coming in at 9 now. So but we get there. Staff gets there at 8. So that way we can get everything pulled out ready. That way it's ready to prep and everything when the volunteers come in, so they can hit the ground running instead of waiting on us to get everything pulled out. And so, but yeah, we serve from 11 to 12.
And literally no questions asked.
Questions asked.
Just families.
Yeah, whoever needs it.
Yeah, that's just okay.
Same with the showers and laundry services.
Okay, but I mean, somebody out of work struggling for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
just needs a little help.
They're more than welcome to come.
Okay,
that's what we're there for. We've actually just added a handicap shower. They just finished construction on it last week, so. We added a handicap shower, so now we have 3 showers. We have 5 washers and dryers in our laundry area, and then we also Tuesday put a generator in. So we had a generator put in by Frank Purdy Electrical, and so that way we ever lose power, we got a generator, we'll be able to serve.
Yeah.
So
Drew, what's the minimum age for a volunteer?
16 right now. Because of sharp knives, fires on the stove, anything like that. So 16, 17 with an adult, and then 18, of course, and over are welcome to come without an adult. Well, because they are an adult. So.
And so how do your volunteers do they come from church organizations, or is it just an individual that wants to get involved, or anything and everything?
We have churches that are kind of core groups, but then we plug in anybody and everybody, and businesses like Hardy and several others that have came. We had a Ball Corporation there yesterday, and a representative from Inland was there, or International Paper now, I guess it's called. Yeah. They're volunteering. So we just, whoever wants to come, whatever business, whoever, we use them to help us, meet the needs and feed people. And
what was your did you go to college? What was your major in college?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So you majored in football.
Basketball.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's right. You're a big, tall guy.
Well, yeah, I was about 208 pounds and 6'6", so, or 6'7" then. So.
But you're from here. Where'd you go to high school?
Yeah, Pepperell. Yeah.
Okay.
Grew up in Lindale.
I got you. Sir. So how did you end up in Columbus?
I went down there for a couple of years to get out of, try to find something different, get out of Rome, and ended up down there and found a place at Valley Rescue Mission to go to and work. And honestly, I had no idea then, but it was kind of God leading me there, to be honest with you, and then back to the community kitchen. So.
It's so funny. Sometimes on the show, I talk about career paths, because at our core, we're business radio, and some people find it. Yeah. Some people bounce around,
I bounced around for a little while and then I found it. So.
Yeah. It is interesting. Like, Sarah, your background's always been education, right? But you're now administration. Was that something you wanted to do? Did it find you? Do you miss not being in the classroom more?
Yeah, I mean, I think, my dad's from India, and so my grandmother actually was a principal in India.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's somewhat in my blood.
They have good high school football over there?
Well, not American football, but, international football, yes.
Yeah, I think we call it soccer.
Yes. And so, and that was obviously that's a very different culture, and women aren't always in those roles. But my grandmother was a principal of a school in her town, and so, and then my mom was a special education teacher, and so I always loved going to school with her, and seeing the way she impacted her students, and so I always wanted to be in education some way. And then I think administration kind of found me. I really felt called by the Lord to apply several years ago. And I thought, well, Lord, I'll be obedient and I'll just apply. But I really didn't think I would get the job. I thought, for some reason I'll just apply. And then there were definitely people more qualified than me, that applied and interviewed. And then I got the job, and I was like, okay, well, I guess, this is the next step for me to really lead this, help lead this staff and these students. And so I definitely do miss part of being in the classroom. But as being a special ed teacher, our world is always a little bit different anyways. And so I wasn't in a traditional classroom ever. I taught ESOL for a little bit in Virginia as well. But, I think that just using, the gifts and the call wherever God places us, is what matters to me. So you could put me, in an American school teaching and I would feel fulfilled. I could teach on a mission field and feel fulfilled. I think wherever God leads us to that place, that it's finding that for us in a way that honors Him.
Well, I can tell you this is the most comfortable I've ever felt having a conversation with a vice principal or principal, because speaking as one who was called those offices a time or two growing up, it was a little stressful.
Sure. And our, traditional discipline has changed a lot. Our goal is really to build those relationships with those students. And so, students who are struggling, there is generally a reason that they're struggling. And so, especially at the primary level, they're not, causing a ruckus because they want to, be mean. There are things at home or external factors, or they might be hungry, or, there are a lot of things going on. And so we really try to build relationships with them. We don't want them to be afraid of us, but we want them to see us as, a partner with them to help them get get back together so that they can go back to the classroom.
Yeah, I guess I'm making light of it. I wasn't so much as afraid as I knew that punishment was coming because I had started a fight at recess or something,
Right.
and so it was time for the comeuppance.
Yes, and that does happen too.
A note was going home, and
there are consequences.
a note was going home to mom and dad, and there would be consequence.
Right.
Okay, the book drive goes through July.
Yes.
Okay. So define a children's book. What are there? Do the books say, for ages what to what, and what are we looking for? What do you need?
I mean, I think any, picture books are really what we, kindergarten, first grade, they're reading more of, with lots of pictures, our, award-winning books are great. Diverse books are wonderful, representing other cultures and, communities. Our second graders really, you kind of hit a transition in second grade where you're not learning to read, but you're reading to learn. And so second grade, I think having some chapter books and, some more challenging texts, Magic Treehouse books, anything that captures their interest. Boys will always go to the library and pick a book about football and a book about basketball and, Steph Curry books. And, so I think, having a wide selection is really the most important thing rather than a certain type of book.
Yeah. So whatever comes in, you'll find a home for it.
Absolutely.
On a
There'll
shelf.
be someone that will want to read it.
Yeah. on a shelf somewhere. So, what are the details, Katrina, on if people are listening, can they just stop by Hardy and drop off books?
Yes, they can come through the front doors. They can drop them off at the front desk.
Okay. And how long is this good? Through July?
Through the end of July.
This is y'all's little Hardy Helps support thing this month. Well, let's just do some final thoughts because I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to talk about if they've forgotten to mention anything. So Drew, with Community Kitchen, what do you need? You need cash, volunteers,
Canned goods.
Canned goods. Yes.
Really any dry goods like, cereals, ramen noodles are always a big hit in the pantry boxes, stuff like that. So we're really just trying to get stuff up to keep the boxes full. So we have several boxes that are in major locations. Like one of them is at Good Neighbor right across the street from the bus stop, and we could fill it up 4 times a day and it would be empty 4 times a day. So,
wow.
Yes. So we're only filling it 1 time a day right now, but we have volunteers from the Spires that are helping us keep that one full. Volunteers from Westminster Presbyterian that are helping keep the one at Westminster full. But yeah, we definitely can use canned goods. I'm having to buy canned goods right now from like Sam's and places like that, and one order is $300. So
well, yeah, because inflation too.
Yes,
It's even buying it in bulk, it still hits it, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
That affects the bottom line and what you're able to do. Okay, so how can people connect with you or get more involved? Come volunteer?
They can always message us on Rome Community Kitchen Facebook page, or they can contact me at 706-766-8141.
And I've teased you about this before, but Drew Taylor. Andy Taylor was the name of the sheriff.
I was telling somebody that yesterday that I've heard that, mostly from the older folks.
Yeah, well, that would be me.
The younger people don't really know who that is.
Well, when you grow up watching Braves games, and every rain delay has an Andy Griffith episode back in the day where it was Sheriff Andy Taylor, and that's before your time, isn't it, Sarah? But you go by Drew. You don't.
Yes.
Otherwise, people might think you're related. Yeah. Well, thanks for being here.
Yes, sir.
Sarah, any final thoughts from you, or what can people do to other than school starting soon?
Yeah, we definitely want to thank Hardy Realty for the books. Our classrooms and kids will love that, and so I just definitely want to say thank you for that. And we'll have open house on August 8th, and we'll be ready to welcome a new tribe. Our motto statement at Armuchee Primary is building the foundation for a tribe of lifelong learners, and so we know that those books will tie directly into our mission as a school. So thanks for having me. I've enjoyed being here.
Well, good luck to the new kids at Armuchee Primary. Some of the old kids, new kids, same kids.
Yeah. So our first and second, or our kindergarten and first graders will come back to us, but of course being a new building, and then we'll receive 66 new pre-Kers and then about that many more kindergartners as well.
And while I'm thinking of it, a tip of the cap to Miss McIntosh, my first grade teacher at Armuchee Elementary. Katrina, any final thoughts from Hardy, or how can people get involved with you guys?
Bring books. Bring as many children's books as you can.
And you guys are, of course, located there on Martha Berry.
Yes, we're at 1609 Martha Berry Boulevard.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate your time. You've been listening to the Hardy Realty Show on Rome Business Radio. We broadcast from the Hardy Realty Studios on Broad Street, and we work in cooperation with the Rome News Tribune. Thank you so much for listening.